For 10 years, Amara believed marriage was supposed to be endured, not enjoyed, not celebrated, endured. When she married Daniel, he was charming, respected, and deeply involved in church activities. He quoted scripture effortlessly, prayed loudly during service, and people admired him as a disciplined and godly man. But after the wedding, the man she married slowly disappeared. The Daniel who remained was a different creature entirely, controlling, suspicious, cold. At first, the changes were small. "Why do you need to talk to your friends every day?" he would ask. Then it became worse. "You don't need to visit your family so often." Soon it became commands. "You are my wife. You should stay where I can see you." By the 3rd year of marriage, Amara's world had shrunk to the size of their house. Daniel checked her phone every day. He read every message. He deleted contacts he didn't approve of. He monitored how long she spent outside. Sometimes he would call her 5 times in 10 minutes. "If you're not doing anything wrong, why can't you answer immediately?" he would say. Amara stopped defending herself. It only made him angrier. And in the corner of the house, watching everything with silent fear, was their son, Samuel, 9 years old. Too young to understand everything, but old enough to know his mother was suffering. Samuel often woke up at night to muffled arguments. He would sit quietly behind his bedroom door, listening to his father's voice thunder through the house. "You think I'm stupid? You think I don't see what you're doing? You're a disgrace." His mother rarely shouted back. Sometimes she cried, sometimes she begged, sometimes she simply went silent. And that silence hurt Samuel more than the shouting. One night, he walked into the kitchen and found his mother kneeling beside the sink, whispering a prayer. "God, please, I can't do this anymore." Samuel quietly wrapped his arms around her. She wiped her tears quickly. "Hey, my brave boy." "Why does Daddy hate you?" he asked softly. Amara felt something break inside her, but she forced a smile. "Your father doesn't hate me." Samuel looked unconvinced. Children always know the truth adults try to hide. Unknown to Daniel, Amara had been quietly preparing for the worst. 6 months earlier, she had spoken to a counselor from a church outreach program. The woman had listened patiently to her story. Then she gave Amara a number. "A domestic emergency line," she said gently. "If things ever become dangerous, call this immediately." Amara wrote the number on a small piece of paper. Then she did something strange. She memorized it, and she taught Samuel too. "If anything bad happens," she whispered one night, "you call this number." Samuel nodded seriously. He didn't fully understand, but he promised. The rain that evening felt like a warning. Daniel came home late. His face was dark with anger. "Where were you today?" "The market," Amara answered quietly. His eyes narrowed. "Don't lie to me." "I'm not lying." Daniel grabbed her phone. He scrolled through it aggressively. Nothing. No suspicious messages. No calls. But Daniel didn't need proof. His anger created its own evidence. "You think I don't know what you're doing?" Samuel stood frozen in the hallway. He knew this look. It was the dangerous one. Daniel's voice dropped into a cold whisper. "You've been disrespecting me for too long." Amara felt the familiar wave of fear rising, but something inside her was tired. Too tired to keep shrinking. Too tired to keep apologizing. Too tired to keep surviving. And suddenly, she snapped. Her hand grabbed the glass vase on the table. Before she could think, crash. The vase exploded against the wall. Silence filled the room. Daniel stared at her in disbelief. For 10 years, Amara had been silent. Tonight, she fought back. But Daniel's shock quickly twisted into rage. "You've lost your mind." He stepped toward her slowly, and the look in his eyes made Samuel's heart pound. Daniel grabbed Amara by the throat. "You think you can challenge me?" Amara struggled for air, her vision blurred. Across the room, Samuel trembled, and then he remembered. The number. The one his mother taught him. Samuel ran to his room. His fingers shook as he dialed. The phone rang. Once, twice. Then a voice answered. "Emergency support line. How can we help?" Samuel whispered through tears. "My dad. He's hurting my mum." The woman's voice changed immediately. "Stay on the line, sweetheart." 5 minutes later, sirens screamed through the street. Daniel froze. "What is that?" Then loud knocks hit the door. "Police! Open up!" Daniel turned slowly toward Amara. "What did you do?" But it was too late. The officers entered. Samuel ran into the living room. "He's hurting my mom." The officers immediately restrained Daniel. The powerful man who had ruled his house with fear now struggled helplessly in their grip. Amara collapsed onto the floor, gasping for breath. Samuel rushed to her. "It's okay, Mommy. I called them. I prayed, and God helped." Amara held him tightly as tears streamed down her face for the first time in 10 years. The nightmare was ending. But the biggest shock came weeks later. During the investigation, authorities uncovered something horrifying. Daniel had a hidden past. Years before marrying Amara, he had been reported for abuse by another woman. The case had disappeared mysteriously. Until now, more victims came forward. The man who looked holy in church had been hiding a lifetime of cruelty. His mask finally shattered. Months later, Amara stood in church during a quiet service. The sunlight poured through the windows. Samuel held her hand. The pastor spoke gently. "Sometimes deliverance does not come through thunder. Sometimes it comes through the courage of a child." Amara looked down at Samuel. "My hero," she whispered. Samuel smiled. "I just prayed." Amara closed her eyes. 10 years of pain, 10 years of prayers, and God answered through the smallest voice in the house. The silence that once imprisoned her had finally been broken, and freedom had begun.
If you enjoyed this story, please watch out for the next interesting episode, and don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Leave comments below. Thanks for watching.